Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome to the Overwatch Contenders Gauntlet preview. So, we are getting nearer to the end of the year, and in competitive Overwatch we have seen 2 seasons of Overwatch Contenders, along with the Pacific and Atlantic showdowns, come and go, alongside the 2019 season of the Overwatch League, which has now also ended. But we're not quite done with the esports scene for Overwatch just yet for this year. Obviously there is an Overwatch World Cup to take place later this year at BlizzCon in the first week of November. I will have some videos coming up on that in the near future. But next up on the Overwatch Pro scene calendar is the last active Overwatch Contenders for this year, called the Gauntlet. This is the first time a competition of this type will take place in Overwatch Contenders, and it's time to take a preview of it. As I said, this is the first time the Gauntlet will take place. Before in Overwatch Contenders you would get three seasons a year, and a special showdown at the end of the season which would be between the best teams in the European region and the best teams in the North American region. But this has changed this year. These showdowns took place after the first season of Overwatch Contenders 2019 and featured an Atlantic showdown, which included teams for the West and East region of North America, teams from Europe and one team from South America. This year, there was an additional Pacific showdown, which pitted the best teams from Korea, China, Australia and the Pacific against each other. I'm thinking you can guess which region dominated this showdown. These showdowns would have a hand in deciding how many teams from each region would go to the Gauntlet at the end of the year, with Fusion University winning the Atlantic Showdown, this was before they transferred to Korea, and Element Mystique winning the Pacific Showdown. Both Korea and North America would gain an extra slot at the Gauntlet for one extra team each. Now let's look at how the Gauntlet works. There are going to be 10 teams in the Gauntlet tournament, 3 from South Korea, 1 from China, 1 from the Pacific region, 4 from North America, and 1 from Europe. Let's take a look at the teams that will be taking part in the Gauntlet, going from the weakest teams in my opinion to the strongest. We start off with Talon Esports from the Pacific region of Contenders. They've been very good in this region, but unfortunately the region has been unable to keep up with the more advanced areas like Korea and North America. Talon have taken both Pacific titles in Contenders this year, but came 4th in the Pacific Showdown, losing to the Chinese team The One Winner, which would become the academy team of the Overwatch League team Guangzhou Charge. There is no doubt that Talon are a good team, but I don't think that they can live with the quality of their opponents in the Gauntlet. Next we have a really close toss-up between Linzhan Esports from Contenders China and HSL Esports from European Contenders. Sorry if I butcher any names here, by the way. I don't intend to, it's just that I'm a bit dumb. Both of these teams have had a very tough fight to win their respective regions in Season 2 of Contenders this year. Both did not finish top of their group stages and were somewhat underdogs coming into the playoffs. Linzhan did fight off some big teams like Bilibili Gaming, the academy team of Hangzhou Spark, and Team CC, the academy team of Shanghai Dragons, to get themselves to this position, but I still think that they will struggle to keep up with the top teams in this competition. I echo the same sentiment for HSL. They again fought off some big teams like the infamous Clockwork Vendetta and the pioneers of the May Torp comp, if you didn't know, and Team Giganti to get to the Gauntlet, but there would have to be significant improvement if they wanted to contend with the teams coming out of Korea and North America. Next we come to a group of teams mainly from North America. All of these teams are Overwatch League Academy teams. Let's talk about the Gladiators Legion. Obviously they are a feeder team to the LA Gladiators, but they would only just scrape through Contenders NA East this year. One more map loss and they would have found themselves in Contenders Trials for next year, so it was quite miraculous that they went on to be NA East Contenders finalists. They were also the only team to take a map off the NA East champions Atlanta, so they definitely have some bite. I do believe they are the weakest team coming out of NA for the Gauntlet, but they may have some tricks up their sleeves to catch some teams off guard. And yes, they do have XQC as a substitute tank, but please do not expect him to feature. He's not even really active. It's now time to flip over to NA West, where we look at the XL2 Academy, a team that's had its fair shares of ups and downs in the past, but I suppose that comes with the territory of being an academy team for the New York Excelsior. They certainly did look like the best of the rest in the NA West, losing out to Team Envy in the final of the playoffs. They did, however, beat the Gladiators Legion to secure a 3rd seed coming out of NA, so this is why they are the middle of the pack for me. Staying in NA West, we have the academy team of the Dallas Fuel, Team Envy. Envy have had a fairly good looking team, with Numlocked and Hafikal making up their tank line. They come into the Gauntlet as second seed and NA West champions. They are only second seed because they lost in a seeding tiebreak to the Atlanta Academy. Team Envy could pull off some upsets here, and it would be quite a story if they were to take the Gauntlet considering their parent team's history in Apex, and the fact that the Gauntlet is being held in Seoul, South Korea. Maybe the Dallas Fuel could take some lessons from their understudies ahead of the 2020 Overwatch League season. Let's move away from NA for a minute and take a look at the first of our 3 Korean teams entering the Gauntlet, Gen G. Gen G are the academy team of the Seoul Dynasty, and feature old Overwatch League names like whit and Huyol. There are some experienced heads on this team, but they did lose out in Contenders Career to Element Mystique and Runaway. Yep, we are getting to some big teams now. But beat O2 Blast in a 3rd place playoff to reach the Gauntlet. They are definitely the wild card coming out of Korea, but could cause some waves if they hit the ground running. Now it's time to swing back to NA, and a team that I think are the 3rd strongest coming into this competition, the ATL Academy, or Atlanta. They have some very recognisable names that you might have seen rolling out for the Atlanta Reign on occasion during this season of the Overwatch League, such as Gator, Kodak, and Funny Astro. They are by far the best team coming out of NA, stepping into the shoes of the Fusion University to dominate that region, dropping only 1 map on their way to a dominant NA East Championship. They also comprehensively won their Gauntlet tiebreaker against the NA West winner Team Envy. If they turn it on at the Gauntlet, they could easily take the title, with their most significant trouble probably coming from the top 2 teams in Korea. Talking about the top 2 teams from Korea, shall we have a look? Let's start with the runners-up from Contenders Career this season, Element Mystique. Although they are runners-up for Season 2 of Contenders Career, they did win the first season this year, taking down O2 Blast. Their DPS star Sparkle is one to watch out for, as on his day, he is extremely hard to handle. A lot of current and former Overwatch League players have found fame playing for EM, including Guard, formerly of the London Spitfire, Repel of the Vancouver Titans, Jexay of the Seoul Dynasty, and Pokpo and Dako of the Atlanta Reign. There is a lot of quality in this squad, and they could be very hard to shut down. But the question is, can anyone take down the favourites? My favourite, and a lot of other people's favourites, are the current champions of Korea. And yes, it's that team you hear an incredible amount about. Runaway. After the entire Runaway roster was signed by the Vancouver Titans last year, we wondered what would happen to Runaway. But they came back with a new young squad. They took a season to build, but then they climbed back to the top of Contenders Career once again. Can anyone put this team down? With Flowervin and Runner at the helm, with coaches such as Kuki and Noro, it looks very difficult. They are one of the best known Overwatch teams in the world outside of the Overwatch League, and look very good coming into this Gauntlet competition. They could find some problems with teams like Element Mystique in Atlanta, but sometimes with these competitions, you never know what might happen. So those are the teams and where I think they rank. But if you think differently, let me know in the comments. In terms of the format for this competition, the teams will be divided into 2 groups, with the champions of NA, Atlanta, and Korea, Runaway, getting byes past the group stage. 4 teams will battle it out in 2 groups to make it to the knockouts. The top 3 teams will make it through to be joined by Atlanta and Runaway in the finals. The finals will be a bracket much the same as the Overwatch League playoffs were, with a winners and losers bracket culminating in the winners of the winners bracket taking on the winners of the losers bracket to find the Gauntlet champions. The Gauntlet has a total prize pool of $250,000, but will have a bigger significance than that for the players, as there will be a plethora of Overwatch League scouts there looking at players to potentially sign for the 2020 Overwatch League season. And if the players that some teams are letting go are anything to go by, there are lots of opportunities to get yourself a contract here. The casters are a mixture of Overwatch League and Contenders talent, with Korean Contenders and Apex veterans Wolf and Achilles leading the line, backed up by Jaws and Leg Day from Europe, and Avril and Pixie from the Pacific region to round out your English-speaking broadcast talent. There will also be a Korean-speaking broadcast of the event. All of the Gauntlet will be available to watch on Twitch on the Overwatch Contenders channel, and will probably be hosted by the Overwatch League's channel during the event. The Overwatch Contenders Gauntlet will take place from Wednesday 9th of October at 3 AM British Summer Time, 4 AM in Europe, and will finish on Sunday the 13th of October. If you have the time or have the courage to stay up and watch at the unearthly hours that some of the games will be on, then it'll be well worth the watch, as there should be some fantastic Overwatch on show with some teams that could compete at Overwatch League level. This is where the OWL players of the future will be playing, so keep an eye on some star players as they may be walking out for your Overwatch League team next year. I don't know if I'll be looking back at the results of the Gauntlet, but if you want to see it, then let me know in the comments below. If not, then I will be back with more Overwatch content soon, and there will be a lot to look at ahead of the Overwatch World Cup, coming very soon as we are getting ever closer to BlizzCon. But, for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.